What's going on, guys? It's Picsoleated, and today we are looking at probably October's most sought after sneaker pack, although I guess it's not fair to call it a sneaker pack since you're not obligated to buy them together. In fact, you'd be lucky to get either pair for that matter. We are indeed talking about the ever so elusive Nike X Off-White Blazer Mid Spooky Pack. Man, I tell you, these collaboration names aren't getting any shorter. Anyways, before we get started, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Picsoleated, that's at Picsoleated for fire sneaker content and creative photography. We're a family, so we gotta stick together and stay connected, you heard me? Now, the Spooky Pack includes two colorways of the infamous Nike X Off-White Blazer silhouette. These two colorways are the Grim Reaper colorway, which is a black colorway, and the All Hallows Eve colorway, which is the washed light orange colorway. If you've ever carved a pumpkin, this is definitely not the same color as a pumpkin, although the swoosh looks like it could have been carved out of one and slapped right on the side of the shoe. If you're not familiar with the Nike X Off-White sneaker collaboration, the whole collaboration kicked off at the end of 2017 with the debut of Nike's first sneaker collection with Off-White. This collection included 10 sneakers that were designed by famed Off-White designer and owner Virgil Abloh, and included popular classic Nike silhouettes such as the Nike Air Max 1 Ultra, Air Jordan 1, Presto, and obviously the Blazer, while also encompassing their newer models such as the Vapor Max, Zoom Fly, and the Hyperdunk React. The collection has since been met with critical acclaim, and all those pairs are going for borderline to blatantly wallet gouging prices in the aftermarket. The Off-White Air Jordan 1 Chicago, for example, is going for like $2,500 to $3,000. Even the newer colorways that have released of the Vapor Max, Presto, and Air Jordan 1 are going for large sums. Needless to say, the demand for products coming out of this collaboration is still off the charts, which goes without saying because I'm still trying to figure out how they had someone like me excited to buy Halloween-themed sneakers. Now, these new Blazers do have a few differences between them and the OG Blazers from the first drop, and we'll go over those later on, but as you can see, I'm wearing the All Hallows Eve pair in this video. I also managed to get my hands on the Grim Reaper pair or the black pair. I'm not going to wear them because frankly I'm not keeping them. I had to get rid of them to get the orange pair, so that's why. I personally prefer the orange pair much more, but I'm just fruity like that. Pause. The Nike Off-White Blazers dropped on October 3rd worldwide. I got my pair by signing up for every raffle imaginable and still taking the L's, but getting lucky on one in-store raffle at Livestock in Toronto. I won the Grim Reaper pair from there, which I sold to buy the All Hallows Eve pair, so no, I don't have some kind of magical luck to have both pairs. I just happen to use the one I won to get the one I wanted. Now, going over the materials, the upper is made of several of them and is predominantly this light orange canvas color. I'm not quite sure I've seen this shade of orange in a sneaker before. In certain light, it almost looks like it has a look of gold to it. The mid panel on the lateral side and bottom half of the tongue and toe box is made of this semi-translucent ripstop material in that pale orange colorway. This material is tough, it has a crosshatch texture to it, and it folds like a plastic bag when the shoe bends. That means you get no creases like you would on leather. However, on the other side, this material also doesn't stretch or break in, at least not on this model, so if the shoes are a little too snug on you, don't expect the ripstop to help ease the pain. The shoes come with a set of orange laces to match the rest of the sneaker, with the classic shoelaces text in quotations for those of us who don't know what these long interweave threads of cotton are. The eyelets of the shoe are reinforced with this leather suede panel on both sides. The heel of the shoe has this leather panel that wraps around from the back of the lateral side of the heel to the entire medial side. The inner portion of the leather panel has the infamous Off-White Nike text on it, denoting the year and location of when the Nike Blazer was originally invented. The top of the heel counter has a suede patch with Nike embossed into it, and this is where it gets interesting. The bottom of the heel counter has this smooth, hard plastic or a cork or whatever this material is, painted over with the same orange color with a combo of letters and numbers that I'm not sure what it stands for, but it could be some random style code or product code or factory code for the material they're using. I'm not 100% sure what these numbers mean, but this is a spot that differs completely from the OG Blazers. The OG Blazers had some form of felt material that covered this portion of the ankle. It sort of felt like insulation, the kind you'd find attached to your basement walls. The text was also partially covered up on the OG Blazers, whereas on these it's completely visible and doesn't cut off at the top of the heel counter. And the most notable and visible detail of the upper is this gigantic, vibrant orange rubber swoosh that's not made of fabric and is glued on instead of stitched on. It overlaps onto the midsole and is easily my favorite part of the shoe. We have this little teal fabric tab popping out at an angle from the swoosh, possibly in reference to the secondary color swatch they used for this shoe. The tongue of the shoe is made of fabric and foam, with the edge of the tongue completely unfinished and exposed. Now, because the OG pair was completely undone as well and had no coloration to finish it off, a lot of owners experienced a ton of yellowing on their pairs after leaving them out in the open for long periods of time. I thankfully have not experienced that just yet, but I also tend to keep this pair stashed away and kept in air-sealed bags every time I put them away. With these new Spooky Pack pairs, the exposed foam is dyed with either orange or black, so the risk of discoloration is pretty much gone with the wind as far as I can tell. Could this change over time? Maybe. Do I count on it? Not really. We also get this Nike sportswear tongue tab with an orange swoosh stitched on the side of the tongue versus the top where it would normally be on a normal pair of blazers. On the OG off-white blazers, this tongue tab just said Nike with a swoosh in red. The inside of the shoe is lined with somewhat canvasy textured fabric in that same orange you find on the rest of the shoe. The insole is the same insole as a standard Nike off-white insole with the expected off-white touch, including the off-white logo with the 10 text and the bumps on the front of the insole. If you want a clearer visual of what I'm referring to, check out my review of the OG pair of blazers. The midsole is this thick rubbery midsole colored orange to match the rest of the shoe. On a regular pair of blazers, the rubber portion of the toe is usually covered by the material making the upper of the shoe, but the off-white collab tends to reverse this detail and sets the rubber on top of the upper material, sort of going with that deconstructed vibe of the shoe. The outsole is the same rubber. And lastly, the shoe comes with an extra set of flat laces in the secondary teal colorway with the same shoelaces text in quotation marks as your daily reminders should your memory get worse. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot the signature off-white zip tie. These shoes came with a teal zip tie, which is new ground for off-white. They've almost exclusively given only red zip ties in the past, even with their clothing as far as I can remember. Actually, I take back what I just said. The first pair to come with a teal zip tie was the EU exclusive all-white Air Jordan 1. Now the Grim Reaper version of this shoe is pretty much the same thing, but the shoe is black instead of orange, and the shoe is white instead of that other shade of orange, and the extra laces it comes with is white instead of teal. That's it, that's all you need to know. When it comes to comfort, these shoes don't have any new cushioning tech in them. They're a classic silhouette from decades ago with a flat footbed, and that's exactly what you get with them. They're great light shoes and work nicely for casual walks, but don't expect to get anything close to a cushy ride wearing them for lengthy walks or trails, which is fine because that's obviously not what they're meant for. As for sizing, this shoe is a real mixed bag for me. Before I tell you what size I wear in these, just know these shoes fit super narrow but long. I'm wearing my true to size 10 in these, and that's perfect for me. I own the OG pair in a size 9.5, and they just fit me if I wear the thinnest socks I own. These shoes are super narrow, and so I had to loosen the laces of the size 9.5 as much as I could just for them to fit me comfortably. And even then, they'd start hurting if I wore them for too long. So I learned that true to size is the right fit for me. I am a bit of a wide foot, so that might have a role to play in it. Now there's a bit of space in the toe box, but because the width of the shoe is perfect for me at true to size, I have no issue with that. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. Once you tie the laces properly, you get a proper hug on your foot so your foot's not sliding around in the shoe. I might notice the space a little when the shoe bends awkwardly at times, but that's not really an issue at all. That's just me being nitpicky. The real question we should be asking is how Off-White convinced us to buy a pair of shoes themed after a children's holiday. Seriously, the real truth about Halloween is that there are a lot of middle-aged men who paid resale for a pair of Halloween-themed sneakers this year. And I ain't pointing fingers, but you know who you are. You spent a good couple hundreds on a pair of shoes based on a pumpkin. Let that sink in. I hope that sunk in as far as your half-baked pumpkin pie. Alright, kidding aside, I'm obviously part of that group, minus the middle-aged men part. This is one of my favorite Nike X Off-White releases so far, next to the original Nike Off-White releases. It gives you two very polarizing colors to choose from. Black will match with pretty much anything, while the orange pair will match with less, but is more of a statement piece. What's your favorite colorway so far? A lot of people will prefer the OG colorway of the Off-White Blazers, but I personally like the orange All Hallows Eve pair the most. I just always tend to go for the more colorful or vibrant colorways. Plus, orange is in the running for one of my favorite colors. Do you think Nike and Off-White killed it with another sneaker pack to go down in the history books, or is this just a heat of the moment thing that'll die off? Let me know in the comments. Catch you later. Picsoleated is stealing some souls.